Hi, Virgo. So, lots of wands and that Four of Cups at the top there. It's really important at this time that, again, you only get that beginning set. Have your plan, know your foundation that's bringing you out of this place that you've been in for a while, this mindset you've been in for a while. There's light at the end because you're waking up to it. There's a big thing about him popping out of bed, like he wakes up to it. And I think you get now more than ever then that you don't have to stay stuck anymore. That you can choose, and now you have the ability to choose, and you want to. You want to choose differently for yourself. You know, you've been in the situation before. I had the fives on either side of the four here, but we have 5, 4. Actually, we have 4, 5, 4, 5 here. And then we have the 3 down here. So you need to give yourself the freedom first and foremost, and we've talked about that before too, but it's more clear now. You need to give yourself the freedom in the situations in your life. There's one thing about making a plan and sticking to it and knowing your foundation, but yet at the same time it lacks the drive behind it. And Cancer season shows you where you need to push. In the first part of it, it'll just be simply about recognizing where you're stuck, where you've been stuck, where you've been only focusing on what has happened, even though it's all right, instead of focusing on what is happening and what's being given to you now and what's present with you, essentially. Like, what do you want to be present with you? What are you looking to experience? What are your intentions? Now, not everything goes like perfect all the time. However, the initial intention and what it's worth is important. It's important to get through the situations ahead. It's important to acknowledge the impact if you've made one. But it's also about you leaving situations because you are, or a situation, or leaving certain things behind, whether they're habit situations, both, literally a location. It's for the better. It's for new. It's you recognizing that you have all of this to play with out here, that you really can create a lot from this time right now. And if you're going to go out, you're going to feel like going alone. Obviously, be careful. It doesn't also mean always at night, but still be careful. However, you may want to have some other kinds of human interactions than the ones you've been having. Because of whatever happens, it makes you switch that anyway. It maybe causes you to become a little more independent in your life to a certain extent, but it feels good. And again, at first, it doesn't feel as great because you don't know what it's like almost to have this not be these situations, these person. I do think for the most part it's a literal situation happening in your life. You're not used to not having it so closely or so much of a part of your life, or a part of your habits anyway. It could just be an old job or an old relationship or something tied. Venus is going into Gemini, which will have you feel more playful, and it will make this decision a lot more easy. But there's a depth to it, which is Cancer season, and then a reason for it, which is Cancer season, even if you don't know it yet. But ultimately, it's going to have you feeling so much better. Aries is very strong coming up here, and it's probably something that's been going on, or something that you've really recognized since about March into April. The end of March into April. or April into May. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get confused. I have that sometimes. Um, yeah, March into April. So if you're, yeah, if something's been going on since then, or something that you've been thinking about or dreaming about, or creating some kind of idea or plan up in your life and in your head, it's the perfect time to go forward. It's the perfect time to take control of your life in that way, especially while Mars is in Aries. Mars moves to Taurus by the 5th of Mars and Mercury both move to Taurus by the 5th of July, so it might be best to decide by then. And then the very logistical steps will start to carry out, including if you get any flack or response from the parties involved or the situation involved. Know that this is all due to a developed strength for listening to yourself first. Because ultimately, Virgo, people come to you for your advice. And yes, you need people to go to, but if you want that advice to not only stick with people, and especially if it's something you do some type of, not even just advice giving, but you do some type of consulting or something, at some point you do have to give advice, and it's like, well, would you take it or would you believe it? Every situation is unique. However, there's a certain aspect of, doing what you advise to others that's happening right now, and it's asking you to be diligent about it and to own it. Whatever's happening in your life, own it. Own the new, because it's actually the accountability gives you a lot more weight and power. And what that means is that when you have more weight and power, when you're being honest and all those things linking together very strong, it has more of an impact, especially in the emotions of others, anyone that you're influencing or have an impact, or if you're a parent, if you're a boss. You gain insight in your own life. I feel like I say it all the time, but you do. You also may feel way more strong and capable in calling a lot more of your own shots, especially if you're someone wanting to do something or go off on your own in some way. It's a great time for you to really either get down to really thinking about it this month and planning it out if you need that, and then going off and doing it next month or by your season. Probably not by your season. I would do it before personally. Or you're getting ready to like actually put yourself out there. And sometimes it could be good in Cancer season, because whether or not you're looking to gain anything from it, it has a lot of fertile ground, and you reach the people who you're meant to reach to. It's like Cancer season's intention is always to reach who they're meant to reach and connect to. Yeah. Sorry, I needed a moment to stretch. So all in all, this is about how you trust the process, how you live in between these moments of planning, what you've learned to build, how in order to move forward, you need to move beyond things that have caused you to feel stuck, which means going beyond a doubt of what's coming. It's about being a little more present in your life and acknowledging what's happening, because it's showing you something about yourself, something very strong, powerful. It gives you a lot more range in your life, this openness, and it makes you want to do something. You may start waking up every day feeling very just like appreciative and wanting to live and happier. A lot of you may be single by the end of the month. If you are, go with your best judgment. If you're single right now, it's a great time to be. I wouldn't really change that at the moment unless you want to. However, it just feels here that this is a very independent cycle, or if you are getting into a relationship or starting to, or maybe setting boundaries and just being really clear with people if you're not looking to get serious, because this is a time when people could be like really wanting to get serious with you and you're just like, nah. it's a good time to just really do what you need to do. If you're in a relationship, just letting them know there's going to be things I have to do on my own, things I really want to do on my own. Just a time to really experience yourself in a way that's much different. This one feels different. It's a different time for you. And it needs to be. It does, and we'll get there in Leo season, but it does need to be. And it's good that you're being very honest with yourself at this point. All right, Virgo. And if people are looking for you, it's okay to just, only talk to those that you want to. Maybe be honest with those people you don't want to, or just like cut them loose. This season's gonna sting regardless. It's gonna be hard regardless. Just be a little compassionate if you can be. Because once you start doing well, it's good to have people to share those moments with. I love you. See you next month.